Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a new video. Subscribe. We are very close to 2.5 thousand subscribers. It would be a big milestone, and I have some plans for the channel that are coming up that you do not want to miss. A lot is happening, and one of those things that I really don't cover that much on this channel. The horse race of like every day something is changing about the Trump administration. I don't cover his specific policies. The most I'll do is say, like, the salt tax deduction will help here. In reality, it's going to fucking kill our chances at winning New Jersey and New York for the next 10 years. But that'll help here, and maybe this policy could help X candidate win in this race. But for the most part, I don't talk about stuff like Trump's approval because, for the most part, and I know I'm saying for the most part because there is value in it, of course. You'd rather be up for an approval than down for an approval, but I don't really think it matters that much. I think we're, what, 120 days into his administration? There's like, that's not even 10% of it. Like, this isn't going to change much. Like, we're 6 months away from the next major general election. Unless you want to be like, I, I don't know, his approval is going to impact, like, the Virginia primary, or I don't even think there's like legitimately contested elections statewide between Republicans and Democrats outside of November. Like, unless you want to be like, this will impact state house races. Like, there's not too much value in it because we've seen these polls be wrong before. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Reuters Ipsos has Trump down by 8, therefore his agenda's a failure. Like, no. The reason I used the Wisconsin Supreme Court race at all as an indication, because one, there are no other indications of how well Trump is approved of, because, like, you cannot trust approval polling. This stuff is pure fake. For example, like, I don't think any sensible person believed that Trump's approval was minus 20 2017. That it was worse than his unfavorable, which is a little bit weird when it's worse than his unfavorable. That shows that there's a little bit of hacking in it, just a little bit of the. Sorry, really, really bad cold. Um, it's an allergic reaction to bullshit. But it's really weird when Trump's disapproval reaches higher than his unfavorable. I'd cough again, but I feel like you people are already screaming about your ears. But I really don't talk about it that much. But we have seen a somewhat stark improvement with Trump's approval rating. For the most part, at the start, it did seem like statistical noise. Like, it went from 7.1 to 6.5, which, like, I mean, that usually happens. There's a reason why there's so many spikes here. Like, oh my god, it's going up. Oh, it's going down. Oh my god, it went up. Oh, it's gone down. Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's going down. Oh, it's going. It's like when people look at the stock market and they're like, look at this one day where we had it go up by 100 points or go down by 100 points. Like, oh no, statistical noise. Whatever will we do? But this really doesn't seem like statistical noise at this point, because one, you've seen in many of these pollsters, like, Trump's approval go from a little bit north of, I'm not sure where it is. I don't even think it was uploaded to RCP, but there was a minus 20 approval rating poll for him, which is great journalism. But you've seen it go from like minus 14, and actually, there's not another CNN poll, but like, there's not a Fox News poll. I'm trying to find something common. Um, RMG Research, for example, RMG Research, Trump's approval went from +1, it went to tied, and now it went to +4. Now, do I believe it's +4 overall? No, but the thing is, it's a shift within the organization. I actually don't think there's a new New York Times poll. Uh, yeah, listen to also know. But I know Qantas Insights, yeah, went from -2 for Trump to tied. These aren't the biggest shifts, but they are still shifts, nonetheless. I think Emerson had a recent poll, and by recent, I mean, like, if they pulled it in January, I'm not gonna use the +8 poll and be like, look, since January, Trump's approval has gone down. Wow, Biden had a 56% approval rating supposedly in January. Like it's gonna go down. That's how every presidency goes. People give the president a chance, and a lot of people who give the president a chance will always hate him no matter what. Once the opposition party becomes competent, um, I think there's. I'm trying to look for some of these common polls. I think I'm blind. Morning consult. We had a -6, and it stayed at -6. Oh, wait, no, this is the exact same. Okay. Uh, but Economist YouGov, it went from -8 to -7. I swear to God, there's a shift here. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. RCP average has gone from -7.1 to Trump and nearly halved to -4. Now, I will admit, most of this has come from disapproval going down. Like his approval went from 45.1 low. Now it's 46.1. Like that's not really too much of a swing. But it went from 52.4 disapproval to barely majority of the country in these polls disapproving of him. And you still do have these three or even four monoliths of -10, -12, -10, -8 weighing down the aggregate. If you didn't have those, it still would be negative. Like -7, -6, -8, -5 are heavy hitters, but it wouldn't be -4. It'd be like -2, which is relatively good. Uh, Especially since you've seen issues like immigration he's negative on, but you've seen him kind of rebound there. I also think it's complete bullshit, the idea that people disapprove of Trump on immigration. Like, if people actually disapprove of Trump on his strongest issue of immigration, his approval is -15. His approval is not -15. Like, Biden's approval was barely -20 near the end. And, like, 2021, this time 2021, 517, when I'm recording, it was 518, it was +11. Like, it didn't collapse that much. You had the initial approval of Trump collapse, but, like, it still took a little bit for Biden's approval to go negative. Now, of course, you could be the exact same thing here where, like, it went from +11, now it's +12 or something. But still, one, it's not as large of a shift. And two, this has been kind of the consensus among most pollsters. They either show it the exact same or they've shown it shifting a little bit. Now, I will say be wary of this. We do have to monitor this. I saw this much before anyone else did. I didn't comment on it because I thought it wasn't going to amount to anything. And there's a chance it doesn't amount to anything because what you saw is here. Trump's approval hit its low mark around the 100 days mark because a bunch of these pollsters pumped out polls around the 100 days mark. Like, we had polls left, right, and center. Every day you had a poll coming out, or not even every day, like 3 times a day you had a poll coming out on that 100-day mark showing Trump's approval is down by 20, down by 15, down by 10. Because all of these organizations, you can't fund a poll every day. Like, uh, plugging New Jersey poll, go donate to the Jersey poll. But like, they're expensive, and these organizations, if you're gonna poll like 2,400 people across the U.S., like, you can't do that every 5 days. And some organizations like Rasmussen can do it. I think it's just because it's better polling company. They actually understand how to do daily tracking polls, unlike the average pollster. And also, I mean, what a leftist would say is they cut corners, but like Rasmussen is more efficient in doing so. Um, but for the most part, it's not a complete end all be all. But Rasmussen, RMG Research, most of these daily tracking polls are sponsored by Republicans, and these massive organizations, which the fact that they are massive organizations and all vehemently uh, beholden to the corporate interest and to the establishment, and they're all pumping out the same numbers. It means that they can't pump out polls all the time, but like when they do, they're pretty similar. And you just had this massive monolith in the aggregate of all these double digit disapproval polls coming out, and like I just think that that was never there. But also at the same time, the surge for Trump might just be noise because these polls, like Trafalgar, not exactly a Democrat aligned pollster. Big data, love Richard Barris, support him for Senate. That's not exactly the most Democrat aligned pollster. RMG, Rasmussen, like you can understand if like those are the only ones having Trump's approval positive, but Emerson's a relatively good pollster. I'd say their bias slightly lies with Republicans. Like the infamous incident that haunts me was the Cameron plus one poll from the 2023 Kentucky gubernatorial election, which, in case you don't know how that went, let's just say Cameron didn't win by one. Qantas Insights, relatively they're not the worst pollster, but they are slightly Republican inclined. But even like TIPP isn't. It's an okay pollster. It really isn't the best, and especially like they captured Trump's surge. And I say that in quotations at the very end of the campaign, but like for most of the 2024 campaign, they were like daily tracker, Kamala Harris plus 4, Kamala Harris plus 5, Kamala Harris plus 3. Like they fixed it by the end, but like at the same time wasn't exactly the best numbers until like the final 3 days of the campaign. Like Morning Consult, the fact that he's within, even though Morning Consult has this weird bias where like they think that incumbents are more popular than they usually are. Like they have every incoming governor but one, which was Kim Reynolds, and that single-handedly caused her to retire. I find that hilarious. But they had every governor being positively approved of, which isn't the case, especially in the Eastern Seaboard. Where could this video be going? I have the New Jersey poll by E tab pulled up in the top of the screen there. I wonder where it's going. But they really, you could chalk that up to like they think that incumbents are more approved of than they are, but they really have like that bias for everyone else but Trump. Like you can look at his first term, they had like minus of infinity 1,000% for Trump. Biden up by like 25 in hypotheticals. Economist has shown it relatively the same. Reuters, I think, showed it narrowing. If I'm not mistaken, Yahoo News, Daily Mail, completely useless. News Nation, I don't know if they're a serious pollster. CBS News, not a serious pollster. So all of these are well and good. But one thing that I found interesting, I'm not going to say, oh my god, it blew me away, because I'm not really surprised by anything that comes out of politics anymore. I was like, oh my god, a poll shows Trump's winning the popular vote against Biden. Isn't that shocking? And like, nothing shocks me anymore. But we had a poll from Emerson out of New Jersey, which do not trust these statewide polls for stuff like approval, besides for like the gubernatorial approval, which matters. We'll get to that in a moment. But Trump's approval supposedly is neutral New Jersey. Now, I looked into it. He's actually down by 0.3. The end of the world for Republicans in New Jersey, am I right? But like the fact that this is even a conversation that New Jersey likes Trump is not a good sign for Democrats, especially when they have a gubernatorial election coming up where the outgoing governor is disapproved of. And then we have 53% prefer that the next governor in New Jersey to work with Trump, 47 prefer. Why can I not pronounce that? Prefer the next government to stand up to Trump. Actually, a lot of people have been like, "Oh my God, 53% of New Jersey would vote Republican." I don't think that's good. Personally, I want my governor to work with any administration. Like, if there's a communist in office, I'm gonna be like, why would we just like incite chaos and start fires? Like, I feel like the median voter, whether they're voting for Mickey Sherrill or Jack Ciattarelli, they probably want the governor to work with the Trump administration. But this also is bad for said Democratic primary frontrunner by a lot. A lot of polls have shown this close between Philip and Barack. This is one of the few polls to show like Cheryl is just dominating the rest of the field, and Gottheimer actually is in contention for second. Which, if this is how the polling is, I think he has a legitimate chance of getting second, since I really don't see a current U.S. representative getting fourth. if he's at all in contention for second. But that's a bad sign for Cheryl, who's been running her campaign not on like local issues. That's more Philip or Baraka have been doing that, but on solely opposition to Trump. Now she's a good performer, but she really hasn't been in a competitive race since 2018. Even so, 2018 she really wasn't in a competitive race. This could be a competitive race. Now, I don't think Republicans win it. I think Citarelli's in it. I think this is the most damning number on Democrats. Not Trump's approval is neutral, because that can change. 53% prefer the next governor to not spend their time as governor inciting the administration and causing fires to crop up between New Jersey and the federal government. I think the fact that Murphy is disapproved of is pretty bad. But even so, obligatory, oh my God, if you shift the election, my screen's breaking. If you shift the election 6 points to Trump so that New Jersey is even, every other swing state flips. Not New Mexico, which, who's been saying that the GOP is not going to do well in New Mexico long term? Not Maine. Who's been saying that too? Wow, it's almost as if I'm right about everything, guys. This is what I've been trying to tell you. But, like, New Jersey should not be competitive. It's trending Republican, okay. But, like, one, I want to mention the salt tax. Oh my God, everything in my life revolves around the salt tax. I hear people being like, "Oh my God, it's all of this is because of immigration, or it's because of the economy," and they realize tariffs are working, or it's because Democrats are too radical. No, it's the salt tax. Everything or salt tax. It's like ATM machine. It's the salt deductions. Everything in New Jersey will come down to the salt deductions, which I can make an entire 25-minute rant about how stupid Republicans are for not raising the salt deductions, because it's a free win in New Jersey. Like, you could make an argument Citarelli's favorite if he runs on salt deductions. But no, we must spend more money on the military. How could we ever be prepared for a war that's not happening if we don't spend $2 trillion on the military every day that go to purchasing thumbtacks for 180,000 a piece? How can we not do that? Like, it's insane. But this shows that Trump's approval is slightly rebounding. I don't know how Emerson has it tied nationally, but also tied New Jersey. I'm going to assume that that's because this is an old poll, but I think there's a bit of a vibe shift happening to Trump, because all of the initial uh, anger towards Trump, especially on the economy, like the tariffs, it was a little bit weird for a while. I admit, he kind of threw a bunch of stuff into chaos, but some of that has subsided. Obviously, this hasn't, because like Rasmussen is not going to in their daily tracker pull all different issues. But like even immigration, it was retarded when people were like, "Oh my God, but Kilmar is going to sink Trump on immigration." Democrats are so smart for running on the MS-13 gang member. Like, no, that was all fake, artificialized momentum for them. Like that was never happening. And for the most part, on the economy, especially, Trump's disapproval has to some extent begun to cool off a little bit. A little bit. It's not like he's the most popular president of all time. I'm not insinuating that. I'm not even insinuating that this has been like a noticeable shift in public opinion. Like, maybe it's just 1%, but pollsters are starting to get less biased. And I'd have to say, if I had to assign where his approval is right now, like without the polls, just like my opinion of where it is, I'd say it's like -2 to 3%. I think the polls are biased against him. I don't think he's fully surged. I'm not ready to say that he has a positive approval yet, though. I will say I did the exact same hedge of like, I'm not ready to say Trump is favored to win the popular vote in 2024. Look how that ended up. But I think there's a significant shift towards Trump happening, and significant in the fact that like most of these issues that people were so focused on, so angry about Trump, how people thought he was mismanaging the country, how people thought tariffs would kill the economy and are standing abroad, immigration, even like he was being way too harsh. That's to some extent subsided. Even if we don't win New Jersey, which if we don't win New Jersey, it will be because of salt. If we throw away New Jersey because of the like establishmentarian win of the GOP being like, no, how could we, do the salt deductions, which wins us like 10% of the vote, and legitimately upends the entirety of the New York gubernatorial election if you can give Republicans the salt deductions to run on. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like a schizophrenic ranting about this because it's such an obvious idea for the GOP. I feel so passionately about this because it's so dumb what we're doing. I hate the GOP so much. I hate this fucking party. Oh my god. But even if we lose New Jersey because the GOP is incompetent, um, and we're somehow not include raising the salt deduction cap, I'm not even sure why anymore. We can just we can fund the military and raise the salt cap. I think they just hate New York. But who knows? This can change on a dime. I wanted to make this video a little bit ago. I waited because I thought this was going to change. It hasn't. Some of it has been like 4.3, 4.2, 4.3. Like it seems like it's leveling out. Oh, we do have to wait in like 1 to 2 weeks. I'd put it at like 2 weeks. You'll have all of these same pollsters drop their next polls, and like that's not saying they will all drop at the exact same time, but like over the next week or 1 week from now, begin to be prepared for some of these polls. And take them with a grain of salt. Don't say like, "Oh my God, Trump's disapproval went back up to 6% over approval." Like it's over. Recognize that like part of the surge has been disfavorable polls for him falling out of the aggregate, but also part of it is a legitimate shift in public opinion. We don't know though yet, so we gotta wait and see. Subscribe. This has been a bit of a schizophrenic video. I really want to talk about the salt cap because that's like a pressing issue, especially to New York, which is where we will expand in the future. Where we have if we're going to have a chance at holding House, which I think we do. I don't think we're at all favored. I think that Democrats are very likely to win the House. But if we're going to narrow the Democratic majority, or the incoming Democrat majority, or even have a chance of winning it, it runs through New York, it runs through New Jersey. We just don't care. We're like, no, we're fine with less than 200 seats. I'm exaggerating, but like we're fine throwing away a free seat in New York's third, a free seat in New York's fourth, a free seat in New York's 19th. Maybe not the 19th, actually the 19th because it's still affected by salt, but like especially those two on Long Island. You want Blakeman to win by 10 this year. You want the gubernatorial nominee, whoever it is, to improve upon Zeldin's margin. Just give the GOP the salt deductions to run on. It's so simple. But anyways, thank you for watching. Godspeed. Subscribe, comment, like, share with your friends. Become a member if you really want to support this schizophrenia. I might make a members exclusive video on. Guess what? The salt deductions. I wanna make a video on the salt deduction. Anyways, thank you for watching. Godspeed. Tester's done.